I'm Becca, and you're listening to My Exit on 97.7 and 106.1 EXT. This is my music, this is my exit. I'm Becca, exit 97.7 and 106.1 WEXT.
Do that one more time.
Okay. This is my music, this is my exit. I'm Becca, exit 97.7 and 106.1 WEXT.
Good.
I'm Becca. This is my exit from exit 97.7 and 106.1 WEXT, Amsterdam and WMHT HD2. I'm Becca, and this is exit 97.7 and 106.1 WEXT. Support the music at wextradio.org. This is Becca. My Exit is a production of Exit 97.7 and 106.1 WEXT Amsterdam and WMHT HD2, a listener-supported service of WMHT.
Great.
Promo?
Yep,
No?
promo, yeah.
Okay. If you love music like I do, then you should make a list of an hour of your favorite songs. You could be like me and be a DJ on My Exit. I'm Becca. Join me for My Exit on Exit 97.7 and 106.1 WEXT.
Yay.
Sick. Okay. All right. Now I start me talking.
Yeah, now you do the thing, and because I don't have a playlist,
Okay.
what I'll need you to tell me is
You're about to hear The Circle Game by Joni Mitchell.
yes,
Okay.
that kind of thing. So what I need you to do though is to say this voice track comes before song one or after song one or whatever,
Okay.
whichever order this comes in. I need you to tell me where your voice track goes in
Okay.
the list.
Yeah.
Okay, just do that as like a slate, like you're doing a slate in front of a video.
Got you.
You say take 5 or whatever. It's the same idea. So you're gonna say, "This is Becca. I'm gonna do voice track number 1. It goes before or after song 1."
Okay. Cool. Announce where track goes.
That way we can easily find it and make sure it's in the right place.
Okay. I'm just gonna try to make this flow make a little sense. Connect if I ruled 2 in my bed. And then I guess I could just go, oh, no, we should do these back to back. Ooh, okay, I'm cooking. It'll take me like 2 seconds just to rearrange this.
That's fine.
Okay.
I love that Joni Mitchell is on your set list.
Oh, opening my set list. Yeah.
She's going to be playing at the end of August.
Where? Oh, crap, I'm gonna be in LA. Well, there's that.
No, Judy Collins. No, I'm thinking Judy
Close
Collins.
to
Never
Joni
mind. I was like
Mitchell,
Joni Mitchell, and then I was like, no, Judy
I
Collins.
don't think I've listened to Joni Collins. Judy Collins. Okay. This is a weird playlist. All right, let's just let her rip. Okay.
Let's do that.
All right. Hi, listeners. My name is Becca, and I'm currently an intern at WMHT, which is housed in the same building as and connected to WEXT Radio, both of which are part of the public broadcast system, also known as PBS. Now, in terms of what I do outside of my internship, I'm a recording artist under the name Becca Dira, and I've released a lot of music under that title. And so many of these are my musical influences and music I've grown up with that my parents have shared with me, and I'm really excited to share it with you guys now. On Instagram, you can find me at becca.dira. And in terms of finding my music, you can find it under BECK space ADIRA on Spotify, Apple Music, and any other place you listen to music. Now, part of the reason why I'm so excited to do this is because this August I am launching my own podcast called Songtalk, where, somewhat similar to this style, I will be sharing a bunch of songs that mean something to me, connecting them to a topic, and then diving into it and its meaning in my life with myself and or a co-host. So you can check that out on Instagram at Songtalk Podcast. All right, without further ado, you're going to be hearing The Circle Game by Joni Mitchell. Okay. All right. Well, part of why I wanted to start this listening experience with you with the circle game is because I love how it just dives into the cyclical nature of life. I recently took a death and gender class. My college has like these summer Maymester things. And so being in that class got me thinking a lot about like the grander scheme of life and like what happens to your dreams and how your life just goes through all of these different ebbs and flows. And so being in that class kind of brought that to the forefront of my mind. And then when I was back in high school, I took a class called moral reasoning, which I thought was going to be about like peace and justice stuff. It was not at all. It actually ended up being about spirituality and again like tying into like a lot of life cycles like Eckhart Tolle and Marianne Williamson. Those kind of thinkers were who we dived into. And so when I was thinking of, okay, what do I want like the flow of this overall playlist to look like, I thought it would be nice to start A with a song like this and B with a song that could kind of lead to a cyclical nature to the playlist. One of the things that I love most about this song is where Joni Mitchell talks about the kind of loss of dreams in the second verse. And I think right now, like being in my early 20s, I think it's a time where people want you to be really realistic about your life, but also at the same time, it's really exciting because this is the time where you can chase your dreams and there's way less consequence to it. And so I'm trying to fight to like not lose my dreams, whether that be acting, singing, dancing, modeling, wanting to host a podcast, all of those things. And I hope that all of you guys are still chasing yours and feeding your passions and things like that. All right, so this next song is kind of a bit of a 180. It's If I Ruled the World by Nas. And part of the reason why I chose this song is because my parents have a huge influence on the music I listen to. And my dad, he was born and raised in Brooklyn. And so all of the rap I knew, I guess, before middle school was basically like New York style rap and all from like the 80s, 90s, that kind of era. And so until I got to middle school and started exploring on my own, I didn't really listen to modern rap, which kind of gave me an interesting perspective. But I feel like being in 2024 right now, we're right before the election and all of that. This song is so fitting in terms of talking about themes of peace and justice and all of those different things. And I feel like it's a really fitting time in the face of the upcoming election, but also the multiple genocides that are occurring across the world. And so I wanted to share this with you. I encourage you all to research the people who you'll be voting for, read what they want to implement, read Project 2025, and really know what you're doing and who you're voting for and its impact on marginalized communities. So, without further ado, we're going to be listening to If I Ruled the World, and then right after that, In My Bed by Amy Winehouse. All right, so you may be wondering, why did I choose to put In My Bed by Amy Winehouse right after If I Ruled the World by Nas? Kind of a total 180. Well, part of the reason why I chose to do that is because In My Bed actually samples the beat of two songs. Incredible Bongo Band's 1973 cover of Apache, as well as Nas's Made You Look. And so I thought that might be an interesting back to back. You should definitely go listen to Made You Look as well. But I just love Amy Winehouse's voice. And I feel like this song kind of has this very cool feminist angle because a lot of the time in this world we hear men talk about like their physical and their desires and X, Y, and Z. And I love how she soulfully is like, no, I don't really want the things that you want, and kind of reclaims her power in that way. And so I felt like that it was important to acknowledge her because she is a huge musical influence to me, and I've watched the documentary Amy at least 5 times. I don't think I've ever made it through not crying. But I love her and her music, and I think she's such an interesting testament to femininity. So, yeah, In My Bed. For the next two songs, we're going to be listening to Please Don't Make Me Cry by Leanne LaHavas, as well as All I Could Do Was Cry by Etta James. All right, so for Please Don't Make Me Cry, I chose this song because it is my go-to breakup song, womp womp. But I feel like part of the reason why I love that song so much is because it captures vulnerability in such a real but also poetic way. And one of my favorite lyrics from that song is, I'll show you my prettiest scars, they make us whatever we are. And it's really simple, but I think it very accurately captures the idea of, yeah, like we as humans come with all of this pain and complexity, but also isn't that kind of great because it's what makes us special and unique. And so I really wanted to acknowledge her in that song. And I feel like sometimes when I talk to people from previous generations, they're like, there's no real talent, and auto tune this, and da 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 da, and music is bad now. And I feel like when you hear artists like her, it really pushes you to maybe think outside of that box and maybe consider what you're listening to rather than making generalizations about the state of music as a whole. And part of the reason why I wanted to put Please Don't Make Me Cry next to All I Could Do Was Cry is because I feel like both artists have, again, this same like kind of string of vulnerability, but like depicting it in very different ways. And I love the similar song titles. And so, Etta James, why Etta James? Why is she on this playlist? So, when I was in high school, our high school didn't have like majors per se, but we had like these concentrations that you could pursue, or you could just kind of have like a more traditional high school experience. But I think in my like sophomore or junior year, I applied into the music concentration. They called it Arts Con, and I was like a vocal major. And I was studying with this amazing teacher. I miss her dearly. Her name is Dr. Jackson, and she basically would, push me outside of my box. And I felt like I'm not really a soulful singer. And so she's like, you want to learn soul? Let's sing some Etta James. And so that was one of the songs I sang during my time there. And I really love it. And, you know, she's really down bad. Like, she's begging for her partner. And it's kind of sad, but it's also nice to know that people were that down bad back then as well. And I think, like, the parallel of these two songs illustrates that. Um, Also, you should watch Beyonce's performance of this song in Cadillac Records. Next, we'll be listening to Rain in My Heart by Frank Sinatra. Okay, my reasoning for this song is very simple, much shorter than the others. I think we need to bring back big band, real instrument music, and the orchestration of this song is just beautiful and complex and fascinating to me. And like in that second half of the song, when like all of the brass comes in at once, I find myself like punching my fist like along to the beat of it, and it's just so good and so soulful in its own way. And my dad, his like music taste is really interesting because like you'll have Nas on the same playlist as Frank Sinatra, and so that's been like a huge influence to me. But yeah, Rain in My Heart by Frank Sinatra. Next, we will be listening to Ne Me Quitte Pas by Nina Simone. Okay, so part of the reason I chose Ne Me Quitte Pas is because that same arts con major concentration I did in high school that I was just telling you guys about, we had a language requirement as well. And so my voice teacher suggested this song so that I could sing in French, but like also still develop the more soulful parts of my voice. And I just really love that song. I encourage you to Google the meaning of it and really dive into it. Also, watch What Happened, Miss Nina Simone on Netflix. Amazing documentary, and it's the reason why when I'm asked the question, who would you want to have dinner with, dead or alive, I choose her. Just a great artist who like understands the meaning of being culturally and politically relevant, but also pushing boundaries. The next song we will be listening to, excuse me if I butcher the name, but it's Tudo que você podia ser by Quarteto MC. My reasoning for choosing this song was very simple. I saw a video of Pharrell at a fashion show, and he was just vibing in the front, and this song was playing, and I was like, I don't even know what language this is, but this slaps. And so that's why this is on this playlist. And I also just encourage people to listen to music outside of the language that they speak, because part of what's so cool about music is that it's universal regardless of language. Next song we will be listening to is Fall in Love with Me by Earth, Wind, and Fire from their album Powerlight. So Powerlight is my favorite Earth, Wind, and Fire album. It's front to back just amazing. Buy the vinyl, listen to it, do what you gotta do. Can we talk about that killer guitar solo? Yeah. That's like one of my favorite parts of listening to that song. And I always joke that or I guess I'm not really joking, but this song will play at my wedding. I feel like it's so joyful. Like you can't listen to it and not want to do a two-step and fall in love and like all happy things. But also like while it has that very fun kind of intention behind it, the lyricism is also really impressive to me. And so like I think it's in the hook. My favorite lyric is, I'm well inclined to use the lines that come from the learning tree. Yeah, yeah. Let the seed that grows and ages old give us our destiny. Like, I don't know. I just feel like you could spend like maybe an hour picking apart that line and like the different metaphors that it contains. But yeah, I love that song. It also has a really funky music video with like all of the worst FX you've ever seen. But that's part of what makes it really funny to watch today because you're like, what was going on here? But it's also super fun. Next, we will be listening to 25 or 624 by Chicago. So, this song, shout out to Mr. Cauldron, my middle school band teacher. He made me hate the saxophone, but he did give me an appreciation for this song. I truly feel like I could have been Kenny G if it weren't for him, but that's okay. Also, another fun guitar solo. And I just, again, really love big brass in music, and this song does that really, really well. But also, to connect to WMHT, there's a Chicago and Friends Live at 55 special that airs on PBS and Passport, so you should check it out. You should also donate because public radio, public television, public media is amazing. All right, I'm almost done yapping, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity that I've had to do this, to share this space with you. And the last song I will be playing is I Do It All Again by Corinne Bailey Rae. Again, tying in that theme of life and legacy and how full circle and intricate and weird it can be. But this is a song that I hope will play at both my wedding and my funeral. Without further ado, I Do It All Again. Yeah, so I recently saw her perform at the Egg, and it was one of the best shows of my life. I was really sad she didn't perform this because it's one of my personal favorites, but it's also not as mainstream. And I just think the idea of searching, but also like the answers being within you and like the way she strings it all together. She's just an amazing artist. And she had at her show, she talked about how her last album was based off of like this museum in Chicago that holds all these black artifacts that was going to be torn down, and then a black artist like I think bought it out and like raised a bunch of money to refurbish it, and it now contains all of this amazing black culture and like life and everything. But my mom loves Corinne Bailey Rae and is fully the reason I love her, and so needed to tie her into this somewhere as well. Thank you again for listening to this. If you enjoyed this, please follow my Instagram for the podcast, Songtalk Podcast. If you like me as a human and maybe want to see updates on the music I release and that I write and make, you can follow me at becca.dira on Instagram. And I hope you enjoyed this. I really enjoyed speaking to you. Thank you.